For some, Farrah Khan represents someone who should not have a voice, based on any number of factors, be it gender, age, orientation, skin color, faith, and so on. Some may attempt to cast aside and silence her stories, but Farrah does not and has not ever accepted that. Farrah is the best kind of educator, one who uses passion and reason to disrupt the systems that fail to serve so many. Her work speaking out against sexual and gender-based violence has spanned 2 decades and has cemented her place as a trusted expert who always has a survivor's interest at heart. In 2016, she was appointed to the Advisory Council for the Government of Canada's Federal Strategy Against Gender-Based Violence, and she regularly interacts with media about issues of tremendous importance, especially those that disproportionately affect women and girls. Her #UseTheRightWords campaign to help media report appropriately about stories of sexual violence is widely used across North America, including in our very own journalism program. Among other accolades, she has been named by the Toronto Star as one of the top 10 people to watch, and watch you should. She is an artist, filmmaker, psychotherapist, and journalist. President Whitaker, Mr. Gray, it is with great honor and pleasure that we ask you to confer upon Ms. Farrah Khan this Bachelor of Applied Studies degree. And now it is my great honor to invite Ms. Khan to address the class of 2017.
Okay, you all made it here, but I feel like I just made it here too. This is amazing. Thank you so much, Humber. Thank you, faculty, staff, and graduates, and parents, and caregivers, and loved ones that are here today. I have to say that I dedicate my speech to my father. 2 weeks ago, he died, and it was one of the hardest things that happened. But I know that he's watching. And my father, his goal in life is to be a professor. And he died at 71, and at 65, he became a professor. He started teaching in Rwanda. And you'll notice I have a lot of feelings, and they'll come out, and that's all good, because I know we're all full of feelings today. But I dedicate this to him because he was the person who cleared the pathway for me to do the work that I do. And coming from an immigrant family, my father came from India, he cleared so many pathways, and he did so many sacrifices to be here in Canada and to create change so that I was able to do the work I could. And I think about the people that do that we can sit in these chairs, we can graduate. I graduated in 2002. And I hope all the graduates here today are gonna go home or tonight tweet, text, call, or hug the parent and caregiver that made sure that you could do the work that you could, that you can graduate today, because they've done so much besides just, getting that lunch to you during the day or checking in with us. They do so much. I'll tell you, when I first was asked to when I was given this award, I said to myself, well, I'm so young and this is so strange. And I think that's a piece about I would want you to have, is that oftentimes we can feel that imposter syndrome, that thing of like, who, me? I shouldn't be here. But I want you to leave today knowing you should take up space, that your space is needed, that your voice is vital, that we need you. We need change makers in Canada to create the change in the world that we want to see. That Humber College graduates are wanted and needed in this new world. I want you to know too that weird is wonderful. And as someone who has always been seen as a weirdo from the time I was little, and I love Star Wars and Star Trek and all things science fiction, And I've grown into knowing that I am different than other folks because I want a different world. Build that world. See that change. And a part of being one of those young people, when I was growing up, I was sexually molested as a child. And I started asking questions of why I couldn't be safe and why there wasn't protections for people like me. And when I went to social services, nobody looked like me. Everybody was mostly white and older that were getting help. And I said, well, there needs to be a different world possible. And I started volunteering when I was in high school and continued that in my university years. And because I wanted to see more people like me saying it wasn't okay and that we deserve to be safe. I wanted to see other Muslim sisters saying, yes, this other world is possible. When I think about a graduation, again, it is about that. It is about knowing that your voice matters, that your story matters, that the obstacles that have been put in front of you, you have surpassed them because you are here, that no one can take away your graduate degree. One of the things my dad always told me was that as a woman of color, get your paper, because no one can take that away from you. They can say racist things to you, they can do things to bar you from places, but in the end, you have that paper, you can step forward, you can do good work. And a part of doing that good work is not having just a job and doing your work in your employment, but it's also giving back to your community. And knowing that when we're a part of our community, then when we give back to that community, when we show love to that community, we are building connection. We are building safer spaces. We are saying to each other that our communities matter. Being able to volunteer in my community has taught me that I am actually not that special. It's taught me that there's so many people that have stories like mine, that had hardships in their childhood or in their adulthood and continue to make change. And I want you to do that. You are here today because you are important and because you studied and did your work. What are you going to do back for the community that you came from? My family's from a community in Scarborough called Malvern, which maybe some people here are from, and I love Scarborough deeply. And I always think, how do I give back to that community? As I rise, how do I lift others to come after me? And always looking over my shoulder to make sure that the people that are coming up next know that I have a hand out to them and I'm going to support them. And I couldn't do this work without the femtorship, I like to call it, or mentorship of feminist elders in my life. Women who have told me, you know what, Farrah, take a breath, slow down. Because I don't know about you, but I like doing everything. I'm like, I got to save the world tomorrow, today, now. And my elders have said to me, just take a breath, take a moment, make sure to take care of yourself, have that glass of water, eat that meal, and make sure to take a nap and a rest. My elders have also reminded me that I need to know my history before I make change, that there are so many people that have come before me that not only cleared the pathway, but made it okay for me to speak out. As a queer person, I know that I respect my elders. In the time of Pride Month, I'm going to respect my elders that made sure that people like me would not be shamed or blamed in the streets. At the same time, as it is the holy month of Ramadan, as a Muslim, I remember too that my community has created a safe place for me to be here and continue to fight back against Islamophobia and all forms of racism. I want you to know as graduates that I have high expectations of you. High expectations that you are going to be the change that we have been waiting for, that you are going to check in with each other, that you are going to lift up stories that celebrate our diverse Canada, that our Canada 150 is recognizing not only the diversity of our communities, but also the colonization that happened in this country, that created this country. That remember our Indigenous brothers and sisters and communities that have been here for so long, that I as a settler have a responsibility to them. Now I know this sounds all good and well, but how do we do it? How do we check in with each other? How do we do this? We do this by just knowing one another, remembering each other. You're coming together as a cohort. How are you going to check in with each other? One of the ways that I've made it through in my work has always having peers to check in with. Peers to check me when I'm, maybe making a mistake or not saying the thing that is okay for other folks. I have peers that make sure that I'm doing the work that I need to do, and I have peers that tell me, take a step back so someone else can step forward. And I want you to continually push each other. It's not only just in your school that you push each other to make each other great, but also after you leave this place. I leave you with one reminder that my dad always said to me. I was actually trying to do a Friday Night Lights conversation, which was like the clear eyes, full hearts can't lose. But more what my dad has always reminded me is that every place bring your heart. Every place bring your heart, because that is how we should build our world. Radical love is the way that I've built my work. I want to create another world possible. I want to be the science fiction of the world that my dad never thought could be possible. Taking up space that people didn't think that people like my father, people that came from different countries should take up. We are going to build that world together, and I want you to be a part of it. And do it from a place of love. Do it from a place of care for the community that you're part of. Do it from a place of care for yourself, for your family, and for your caregivers. You have made it here, and that is so special and important. I am so proud to be a part of the conversation with Humber. I'm proud of the fact that now I can call myself kind of a hawk, which I can really like. But I'm also proud of the fact that I'm a part of a community that is going to create the change we want to see in the world. So thank you so much, and congratulations for the hard work that you have done.